school. It was 1991. I didn't even know Greg hadn't even talked to me. I committed to go to UW lacrosse, pretty much sight unseen. Everyone from my school moved there. It was a small town that I grew up in. Lacrosse was the closest town that had a college. Why would you go any further, right? So I kind of committed and said I was going to go to UW lacrosse without ever even meeting the coach. And one day I was sitting in class, and over the loudspeaker, I get this message, Joe here, please report to the office. Oh, shit. Like, you know, I'm just threw him out. And in the office, and they're like, there's a wrestling coach here to see you. I'm like, oh, yeah, great. So I walk into the lobby, and there Greg is sitting. Greg stands up, shakes my hand. And he looked exactly like this. I'm like, wait, you're the coach of lacrosse? You're so small. I mean, why in the hell are you wearing a double extra large? Honestly, for the life of me, I couldn't figure it out. Funny story. Greg and I talked about our first meeting, probably when I was maybe a senior in college. We were talking about the first time we met. And he's like, yeah, I saw you coming around the corner, and the first thing I thought is, you're way too small to
He said the same.
Thank God, on that recruiting visit, he was visiting Boston, Wisconsin as well, which was only 12 miles away, and Brandon Penskover and Tommy Miller were there. So it wasn't a wasted trip on me, because he had two other studs that were coming in on that same trip. And at Luther here, Mitch and I would be enthralled if we could go 60 minutes from Luther to pick up Tommy Miller, Brandon Penskover, and myself. That'd be a hell of a recruiting trip right there. So that's the first time I ever met Greg. So the first time I ever met Greg's family was also the first kegger I ever was at lacrosse. We had freshman orientation. Greg invited all of the new freshmen and the incoming wrestlers and the current wrestlers over to his house. And we got in the back of his house. Keely was there. Connor was there. That was the only two in the family at the time. And there was a half-barrel of beer in the backyard. And all the upperclassmen were drinking, all the freshmen, Brandon and I, Tommy, and the other freshmen were back there in the backyard. And everyone was drinking. I was like, is this a test? Is this a test? Like, can we have a drink too? And everybody's like, yeah, that's perfectly fine. You can drink. So it was my first college kegger. Thanks, Keely. So everyone's like, you gotta tell stories about your time with Greg and your college experience. And you also have to remember, I was a college student at the time. So most of my stories, I probably can't necessarily tell in an environment like this. So it got me to thinking, you know, Greg's a very holy man of faith. Everyone knows he's in heaven, right? No brainer. But what does it actually take for an angel to get his wings, right? Greg's in heaven. Does he have his wings? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the process of gaining your wings are. I remember as a kid there was a movie that said every time a bell rings, an angel gets their wings, right? Well, I'm from a small town in Wisconsin. Greg's from Waukon. So what better bell than a cowbell? So I was kind of thinking about some stories I could tell. I'm like, this would be a great story I could tell about Greg. And I'm like, oh crap, that would get him in trouble with the IRS. Another great story I could tell. A good story. Greg and I used to practice. Oh wait, the NCAA. They have so many rules. Who even knew about all the rules the NCAA had? I didn't know you couldn't practice all year long with your coach. I got to Luther and I was like in the room and Dave's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm the wrestling coach. Shouldn't I be wrestling? It's not season. I'm like, there's a season?
That's good.
I can tell one story. I can tell about two stories. Number one is, I remember Greg came in my freshman year. He comes into the wrestling room, super excited. He's like, come on everybody, gather around, have a seat. I got something to tell you. What's going on? He's like, Keely's pregnant. And I'm a stud. Yeah, that's Miranda. that's how we got introduced to what the possibility of Maria. And the other story from college with Greg was after my freshman year, I got called into the athletic director's office. And it was Greg's first year, so he was kind of an interim coach. You know, he wasn't full-time, and he wasn't, you know, he was under the radar, I guess you'd say. And there was a few different people that they were bringing in to talk about Greg. And she started asking me some questions. Her name was Bridget. And she's like, how is Greg as a coach? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, what is this about? It's like, oh, do you want to hire Greg for another year? I'm like, I'll make it super easy for you. Super easy. If Greg's at the cross, I'll stay at the cross. If Greg goes somewhere else, I'm going to go somewhere else. I will follow him wherever he goes. Do you have any more questions? Nope, that's all I needed to hear. Yeah. Probably wasn't my doing necessarily, but then Greg went on to coach for many years thereafter. Thinking about a bunch of different stories though. After Greg passed, one of my friends sent me a letter. And so 7 years ago, there was a boy in town who cut his hand off. It was a construction accident, and he was using a saw, and he cut his hand off. And this was just a kid in town. I knew his family very well. And Greg knew his family somewhat. But the boy, his name is Kennedy, Greg didn't really know him all that well, or probably not at all. I'm not sure Keely knows about this or the family knows about it all, but the father sent me a letter. This was a letter that Greg wrote to Kennedy. Okay? So, instead of me telling stories, Greg is going to tell a story. Dear Kennedy, I was very sad when I heard about your accident, but very thankful when I heard that you successfully attached your hand. I'm thinking and praying for you every day. There are a few things I'd like to share with you that I hope will keep you going. Wow, that's a new one, right? You are blessed with a Folkadal name. This name gives you strength and determination. I have watched your uncles grow up, and nothing stopped them from succeeding. No matter the circumstances, their determination always kept them going, even in the toughest times. I have always admired this, and this is why I recruited your Uncle Todd to wrestle from Yale to the cross. Kennedy, you are very blessed with the same strength and determination. Your recovery will not be easy, and I'm sure there will be roadblocks along the way. Stay strong and don't let setbacks hit you down. Stay positive and do everything the doctors ask. Something else you get from the Folkadal name is stubbornness. There are good things and bad things from being stubborn, Kennedy. The good thing is that you will stop at nothing from overcoming this accident. The bad thing is you'll think you can make this recovery on your own. You will not, and you must listen to people that are around you and care for you. You have a great support network, and you need to listen to them. I think recovery from this accident will be measured in who you become. When I was in high school, I always had to wrestle Marty Faldet, who was a decor wrestler. We always had close matches, but I always beat him in the end. One summer, Marty lost his hand in a farming accident. The next wrestling season, I wrestled Marty 3 times. He beat me all 3 times. I couldn't believe how much stronger he was than when I wrestled him the previous year. Even though he lost his hand, he became a better wrestler. You are a great kid, Kennedy, and this accident can make you an even better person. Use that Folkadal toughness, stay positive, and use your support network. I pray all the time, Kennedy, and I will continue to pray for you in your recovery. This experience to become an even better person. So, I read that and I realized why Greg always wore his shirt so damn big. Because he was carrying the weight of others his whole life, and a double extra large shirt was the only damn thing he could fit him. Thanks.